This was the moment a high school bully's entire world collapsed. Not with a dramatic fight, but with one brutal kick. And if you think you know where this story is going, you really don't. The reason this video went viral wasn't the violence, it was what happened in the 10 seconds after. Justice arrived in a way no one expected. Graduation day at Maple Creek High smelled of bleach, sweat, and cheap perfume. Rows of students in royal blue caps and gowns shifted under the hot stage lights. For most, this was the celebration of 13 long years. For Maya Flores, 19 years old and first-generation everything American, high school graduate, future college student, it was a miracle. She sat in the third row, back straight, her hair tucked neatly under her cap, her thrift store dress hidden under the gown. Didn't matter, she held a full scholarship to Stanford. Her parents sat in the fifth row, still emotional from the moment they learned she was going to a world they had never been allowed near. And then there was Kyle Jacobs, a quarterback, heir to his dad's car dealership, untouchable king of the school. He wore his Letterman jacket over his gown like a badge, laughing with teammates, arm around the head cheerleader. For him, graduation was just a pause before a summer of parties and an easy ride into college football. Their paths had crossed 3 months earlier. Maya was the new girl, quiet, focused, invisibly, until Kyle needed her. In advanced calculus, he'd swaggered over and demanded she complete his final project, the one assignment that stood between him and failing. She looked up, calm and steady, and told him he needed to do it himself. That tiny, firm refusal shattered his ego. What began with whispers turned into vandalized lockers, stolen textbooks, and rumors so vile they spread through the school like wildfire. Maya kept her head down, pushing toward graduation, crying only at night so her parents wouldn't hear. The day before graduation, Kyle accidentally bumped into her in the cafeteria, sending her food crashing to the floor. As she knelt to clean it up, he leaned down and whispered that tomorrow the whole school would finally see what trash she was. Then came graduation. While Maya tried to steady her nervous hands around her diploma cover, Kyle grew more restless. His college offer had been pulled after his failing grade became official. In his mind, she had ruined his future. When students began lining up to walk across the stage, the aisle bottlenecked. Maya felt a deliberate shove from behind and stumbled forward. Kyle spun around and loudly accused her of trying to trip him. Phones immediately turned toward them. She apologized, shaken, saying someone had pushed her. He stepped closer, voice dripping with venom, accusing her of thinking she was better than everyone. When she quietly told him to stop, it broke the last thread of control he had left. In front of everyone, with cameras recording, he drew his leg back and kicked her in the face with full force. The crack echoed through the auditorium. Blood sprayed across the polished wooden floor. Maya fell, screaming, clutching her face as her cap skittered away. Her hair spilled out around her like a dark halo. Kyle stood over her, chest heaving, wearing a sick smile of victory. He didn't get to enjoy it. From the side of the stage, Principal Henderson launched forward, and not yelling, not hesitating, he wrapped his arms around Kyle in a crushing restraint, pinning him before the boy even understood what had happened. Kyle's triumphant sneer dissolved into wide-eyed shock. The amazed Kyle frozen mid-snarl, the principal holding him back. Maya bleeding on the floor became instantly iconic. Chaos erupted. Parents screamed. Teachers rushed to help Maya. Security was called. Kyle was dragged backstage as the crowd watched in stunned horror. Maya was taken to the hospital with a broken nose, a fractured orbital bone, a concussion, and severe dental injuries. The videos went everywhere. News stations covered the story. The moment became a symbol of entitlement, cruelty, and accountability. In the principal's office, Kyle insisted it was an accident. His furious parents threatened lawsuits. But 1,000 video angles destroyed every lie they tried to tell. Principal Henderson expelled him on the spot and cooperated fully with police. Kyle spent his graduation night in a jail cell. In the hospital, Maya made a decision as she was done being scared. With help from a pro bono lawyer, she filed a civil lawsuit. And a week later, she posted a video. Sitting on her bed, face still bruised, she spoke calmly about the bullying she endured, the fear she lived with, and the moment on stage that changed her life. She ended with a message that set the internet on fire. This wasn't just her fight, it was for everyone who had ever been made to feel small. Support flooded in, donations covered her medical bills and more. News channels interviewed her, kids across the country wrote to her. Then came the final twist. A former teammate of Kyle's came forward. Kyle had bragged in the locker room on graduation morning that he was going to make the new girl famous. The push, the setup, the attack, it had all been planned. With that evidence, charges were upgraded. His family's business faced boycotts. Their influence evaporated. Kyle's fall was total. 2 months later, Maya arrived at Stanford. The bruises were gone, but a faint scar near her eyebrow remained, a reminder of what she'd survived. Her family had moved with her, using part of the donation money for a fresh start. That morning, her phone buzzed with a headline. Kyle had taken a plea deal at 18 months in prison, 3 years of probation, and a permanent label as a violent offender. His football career was over, his future shattered. Maya read the article quietly. She didn't smile, she didn't gloat, she simply felt free, looking out at the sunlit campus, listening to laughter and footsteps echo across the courtyard. She realized her story wasn't defined by what had happened to her. She had lost at graduation, but she had found her voice, stronger, louder, and impossible to silence. And standing in that new place, ready to chase the future she had earned, she knew one thing for sure: her story was only beginning. This was the moment a bully's entire world collapsed. Not with a scream, not with a fight, but with one devastating kick in 10 seconds that would change lives forever. The reason this moment shook the internet wasn't just the violence. It was what happened after. Something so raw, so human. It carved itself into the memory of everyone who saw it. The air in the Maple Creek High Auditorium was thick with nerves, hope, and the sleepy buzz of graduation day. Rows of blue gowns shimmered under the harsh stage lights. For most, this day was a finish line, but for 19-year-old Maya Flores, it was a miracle she had crawled her way toward with scraped knees and bruised dignity. She sat in the third row, her back straight as if holding herself together by sheer will. Her long brown hair was tucked neatly beneath her cap, something she had fussed with in the bathroom mirror because it was the first cap anyone in her family had ever worn. Under the shapeless gown, she wore a thrift store dress she had worked 2 weekend jobs to buy. But none of that mattered. She had a full scholarship to Stanford. Her parents sat 5 rows behind her. They had tears dried on their cheeks before the ceremony had even started. Her dad's hands were rough from landscaping work. Her mother's nails were chipped from scrubbing floors. But their faces glowed with the kind of pride people spend whole lives chasing. They had dreamed this dream long before Maya had. Then there was Kyle Jacobs, star quarterback, son of a local business owner, the kind of boy everyone expects to win without ever earning it. He strutted in his Letterman jacket like it was a royal cape. He smirked, he joked, he basked in attention that had never once asked him to be kind, or decent, or anything but powerful. Maya had never wanted to be part of his world, but fate pushed them together the day he demanded she do his calculus project. She said number, just one small, brave number. But in Kyle's world, denying him wasn't defiance, it was an unforgivable insult. The bullying that followed was a storm that never let her breathe. Whispers, slurs, rumors sharp enough to cut. Her locker vandalized, her homework stolen, her silence mocked, her kindness twisted into weakness. She cried only when her parents were asleep. She refused to let them see the battle she was fighting alone. She was so close to finishing school. All she had to do was survive a few more days. But Kyle wanted his revenge. The day before graduation, he knocked her food tray to the floor in front of the entire cafeteria. Spaghetti dripped down her sweater as laughter exploded around her. As she knelt to clean the mess, he leaned down and whispered a promise of humiliation she could never forget. Tomorrow, everyone will see who you really are. Now graduation day moved slowly, cruelly, toward that moment. Maya could barely focus on the speeches. Her fingers shook against the diploma cover. She just wanted to walk that stage. Just that. A few steps, a handshake, a smile, freedom. But Kyle had already decided her fate. When the graduates began lining up, the aisle grew tight. Shoulders bumped. The gowns swished like restless waves. Then a hard and deliberate Maya felt a shove in her back. She stumbled into Kyle, her cap slipping to the side, heat flooding her cheeks as whispers rippled around her. He turned, eyes blazing with fake outrage. "Watch it, Flores." "Trying to trip me?" Maya shook her head. "Someone pushed me." "Yeah." "Oh yeah? You think you are better than us?" he yelled, loud enough for cameras to swing toward them. Her heart hammered, her throat burned, but she still found enough courage to whisper, "Kyle, a broken bar, please." "Stop." That was the breaking point. His pride shattered, his rage spilled over, and in front of the entire school, their parents, their teachers, their future Asa, Kyle drew back his leg and kicked her in the face. The sound wasn't just a crack, it was a scream inside a silence. Her head snapped back, blood streaked across the stage in a crimson arc. She crumpled like something fragile and precious that had been dropped on purpose. Her cap flew off, her hair spilled across the floor, her hands flew to her face as broken sobs tore from her throat, and the auditorium froze. Kyle stood over her, chest heaving, a sick, satisfied smirk on his face, the kind of expression that tells you someone has never once feared consequences. But he should have, because in the corner of the stage, Principal Henderson stopped being a man who looked the other way. Something fierce broke inside him, something protective, something furious. He didn't shout, he didn't hesitate, he lunged, 3 long strides, and he wrapped Kyle in a crushing hold, a desperate, furious, human shield between a bully and the girl he had brutalized. Kyle's face twisted from triumph to terror. Reality finally pierced his arrogance. 1,000 phones captured the moment the king was dethroned. Chaos burst open. Screams, crying, parents rushing forward, staff sprinting to help Maya, who was curled on the floor, shaking, bleeding, her breath hitching in tiny broken sounds. She was rushed to the hospital, sirens drowning out the applause she had deserved. Her injuries were severe: broken bones, damaged teeth, a long road of surgeries and recovery and nightmares. But what Kyle didn't expect was the world refusing to look away. The videos spread. Millions watched the cruelty, the bravery, the heartbreak. Donations poured in. Support flooded her life like a tide she never saw coming. But Maya wasn't done. A week later, bruised, bandaged, still hurting, she spoke to the world. Her voice was soft but unshakable. "My name is Maya Flores, and I am more than what happened to me." Her words didn't just tell her story, they lit a fire. She spoke for every kid who had ever felt small, alone, or scared. And as she spoke, countless people felt seen for the first time. Then came the final blow. A teammate exposed Kyle's plan. The kick wasn't a moment of anger. It was premeditated. The charges rose. The public sympathy vanished. His dream school withdrew its offer. His father's business collapsed under boycotts. Kyle pleaded guilty months later. He went from a golden boy to a violent offender. Meanwhile, standing at Stanford's campus months later, Maya felt something she thought she had lost forever: peace. She touched the small scar near her eyebrow, a reminder of the fire she walked through. Not a mark of pain, but proof she survived it. Her family had moved with her, finally free of fear. Messages poured in from strangers who told her she had given them courage to fight their own battles. She had lost a graduation, but she had gained her voice. And somewhere inside here, beneath the healing bruises, beneath the memories that still stung her, she felt the truth. Her story wasn't ending. It was finally beginning.